The modded Game Boy market can get very pricey, but if you're looking for an affordable DMG Gameboy IPS screen pre-assembled, could Aliexpress be an option? Let's take a look at a Game Boy DMG from Aliexpress and compare it with other options on eBay. Let's babble. Welcome back to another episode of Reviews by This Guy. And before we get into the topic of today, I'd like to say don't forget to let me spend my money so you don't waste yours by hitting that subscribe button, and to keep informed of new videos being uploaded on the We Deem channel, click the bell. I never seem to mention this, but I have been asked before, so don't forget to check the description for links to all the products featured in this video. Now into the topic of today, a DMG Gameboy IPS screen from Aliexpress. For all you gamers that were around during the Game Boy era, you might remember the dull dot matrix screen that you took on trips in the car and could only play when you passed a street light. In current times, there is now a Game Boy mod which adds a backlit IPS screen, and it adds a whole new gaming experience to your Game Boy DMG. On the right here, you have an original Game Boy, not touched. It has some issues, but I bought that because I want to compare it to this one on the left. This is the Game Boy with the IPS screen that I got from AliExpress. The price of this was $108, I think, and that's including shipping. I think it was $99 without the shipping. And as you can see, for the most part, it has its differences, but it's the same form factor. It's apparently supposed to be original Game Boy guts inside of here. The only thing that's changed is the screen, the case, the buttons, which we're going to take a look at closely. We're going to get both of these open later on in the video, so don't forget to stick around. I am going to include timestamps so you can jump to certain scenes in the video if you'd like. But as you can see, the first difference you can see is that this screen, obviously dot matrix, is bigger than this one. As far as the case is concerned, it seems to be made of the same quality plastic. It says Nintendo Game Boy right here as well. It has the battery, and of course it says dot matrix with stereo sound, which this is not a dot matrix screen. And the size, they're different in size, so I don't know why they remade this. Why didn't they just put IPS screen up there? That's a little weird, but that's what they went with. They got, it appears to be the same type of D-pad and the same type of buttons. You get a little more response out of the original Game Boy than you do this modded one. Buttons feel, I want to say, a little dull and squishy. You have your volume rocker on the side here, just like your original Game Boy, as you can see there. And it has the extension connector there. This one has a cover on it where the original Game Boy doesn't. It might have had one at one point. On the side there, you have the contrast scroll wheel. It is on here, but it does not work. It has no function whatsoever. It doesn't actually do anything. I've seen on some of them, I think if you press it, it'll change colors or something of the screen. We're not going to get too far into that because it doesn't work on this one, or has no function whatsoever. And obviously your battery compartment, the case, like I said, made of a pretty sturdy plastic. It looks pretty similar to the original. As you can see right here, it does not have the sticker number. This is the, I guess, serial number or the number of the Game Boy itself, so you can tell that this is original. Well, it's that time in the video where this normally doesn't happen. I normally take nothing apart unless it's a Chinese device, especially when it's an original hardware. But for this video, it must happen. I have to take these two guys apart. This is an untouched original Game Boy, and this is the AliExpress Chinese, I guess you can say, modded Game Boy that has the IPS screen and a new case. We're going to take it apart, compare the innards, and see if this actually is an original Game Boy parts. I'm pretty sure it is, but just for the sake of visualizing it, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing apart. Bought these screwdrivers on, I believe, Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description down below. I was trying to see if there's an actual size number for this, but I guess it's just a tri-wing screwdriver. Like I said, the link in the description down below to this. I've already taken one screw out just to make sure it fit properly. Don't want to strip the screws. As I was taking the screws out, you can see one of them already looks stripped. This has never been taken apart by me. This is straight from AliExpress. So that's kind of disappointing and something you might want to keep in mind when you're purchasing a Game Boy from AliExpress. Also, something I'll point out during the process, as you can see, I'm taking the screws out the top of the Chinese modded Game Boy, and look how it's lifting up. That's something I did not experience while taking the screws out of the OG Game Boy. So I don't know what the deal is. Obviously the housing is much cheaper, but most of us will expect that when buying something from China. And comparing the screws, obviously the screws from the original Game Boy far better than the screws from the Chinese Game Boy. They're actually longer as well, made of better quality, and that's probably why this screw is all chewed up and rusted. There was also a sticker over the last screw in the battery compartment. I mean, I don't know, what did they think? Somebody was actually going to send this back for some sort of repair? I mean, did these actually come with a warranty in China? I highly doubt it, so I don't even know why they put a sticker over that screw. I actually had to pull up on the housing just to release the screws from this side of the case, which obviously you don't want to do. As you can see, there's a ribbon cable in there, and I could have easily broke that. Hopefully I did not. Obviously, there goes your first telltale sign of this being poor manufacturing. As you can see, I got the bottom part off, and these screws, they're stuck in there. On my fingers, that white residue is actually the case. And I don't know if this had to be resoldered, but that is a horrible job compared to what you see on the DMG Game Boy or the original Game Boy. As you can see, the soldering points look disgusting on this Chinese one, but the parts look almost identical, so that's promising. And there's those compared. I want to say the cable on this Chinese one is a little longer. Let's go ahead and get the board out now. As you know, the case had 6 screws in order to get it out. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 in the battery compartment. Before I go ahead and take this off so we can see the actual screen that they put in here, take a look at the fact that, as you can see, that says DMG LCD 06. It does say 1986 Nintendo. That all looks pretty legit and original on this one, and they might have been different on the Game Boys. This one says 1989 Nintendo DMG LCD 05. And everything else looks pretty similar. The boards, they look pretty similar, and for a console that's that old, the boards look pretty clean. The speakers are different, and I don't think they're of better quality because this Game Boy, the Chinese Game Boy, is pretty low. Another thing I want to point out before I finally get this thing out, I know a little bit of babbling, but I think it's important to point out, there are 10 screws in here, and there are only 8 in here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And on this one, even though I got them out, just know that the top 2 are the ones that I just took out. They're down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there's 2 screws missing from here. That's lovely. Well, I got them both out. This screen was secure. I was able to flip this over. The screen did not fall out. This particular screen, and as you can see, there's a screw here. There's a screw there that's just sticking out. It's not in there securely. You can tell that the screens are different. This screen just flopped over. I guess they got tape here that's supposed to keep it secure. It did a poor crap job of it. You're gonna get a much smaller picture out of this, but a more crisp picture. But as you can see, here's the part that they add they give you a whole new board with the screen, and you're gonna have to go ahead and attach that. So it's a completely different cable from this. I'm not at all gonna try to flip that over. You get the gist of it. The soldering on this was really poorly done, and I'm no soldering expert. I've only done it once or twice. I still got a lot to learn about it. But as you can see, it's much cleaner on the original Game Boy. Alright, some more things I've noticed. Kind of find out why these screws might have been missing from here. This plastic that they made this housing out of, it's obviously slightly cheaper than the original Game Boy, and it's easily stripped. Like I tried, these screws should be identical. I tried to put this screw in here. It would not secure properly. Also, the IPS screen in here, it was a pain to line up. Honestly, I think it's still not lined up. You can see the black there. But they have these 3M like guides that they put in there. Obviously, you saw the screen was not secure to the board, and it was just a pain in the butt. It does not fit in the notch. If you put it in the notch, the screen's down lower. At some point, this will be coming apart again. I'm planning on putting a different screen in this one as well, and other mods. If you guys have any suggestions on mods that should be done to the original Game Boy, please leave those in the comments down below. We will be revisiting this. I do have another one of these that I might be touching. Both of them have their issues. Like this one, the screen comes on, but the picture, I think, is all distorted or whatever. The other one, apparently, I don't know if it comes on, but the battery compartment is corroded, so I'm going to have to go ahead and fix that. There will be some videos on those in the future. Anything that you would like to see done to the Game Boy or either of the Game Boys, leave them in the comments down below. And also, if you're interested in those videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Alright, now to the back panel that has the cartridge slot on it. It seems like on both of these there's only 2 screws. I'd imagine when the housing screw goes in, it keeps these secure. Alright, there's a lot of wires attached here, and it's attached to the board at the bottom with the headphone jacks. I don't want to mess around with it too much. I just want to give you a view of it. And as you can see, DMG CPU B is on here. It says 1989 Nintendo Japan, and you got the sharp chips. And at the bottom under the cartridge slot, if you can see there, it says 1989 Nintendo DMG CPU 03. So it obviously does look like original Nintendo parts. Alright, and here's the original untouched Game Boy, and I felt like it was more secure in the housing than that Chinese one was. But as you can see, it says DMG CPU A 1989 Nintendo of Japan, and then it also has the sharp chips. And on the bottom, this one's a little different. It says 1989 Nintendo DMG CPU 02. I'm just assuming that these were later models. Well, thank God it still works. Originally, I was using this to try to push the ribbon cable in. I highly suggest you do not do that, because when I was trying to push it in, of course, this thing slid and scraped across the cable, and that could have potentially damaged it. I ended up just holding the housings close together, tried to be as careful as possible, and just pushed it in with my finger. It actually worked pretty well. And as you can see, that's what we're experiencing on this original untouched Game Boy. The screen's all messed up. I don't know if that's the screen specifically, or the cable inside's messed up, or maybe this needs to be resoldered or replaced. You know what's causing this? Maybe it's a capacitor, screen, the actual connector here. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd like to get this thing working, and I'd like to get a little more experience in bringing these guys back to life, fixing this, refurbishing it. Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, now let's discuss price differences between eBay and AliExpress. I paid $108 with shipping. It was $99 for this DMG Game Boy with the IPS screen. I believe this is a V3, a version 3 of the IPS screen. And looking on eBay, a lot of those are going for $181, $174. Let's just say it's about $150 to $180, and sometimes I've even seen it for $200 if you're trying to buy it pre-made, obviously, and you don't want to do any of the soldering it takes to put these IPS screens in here. And these are, some of them are original DMG Game Boys, and some of them have replacement cases. So if you pick one up from AliExpress, you're looking at $108 about. If you pick one up from eBay, which you might trust the seller more, or you might be more comfortable picking something up from your country. If you're in the US, which I am, you're probably going to feel more comfortable buying this from a US seller. I bought this from China. I got it. It's pretty decent. It has its faults. It has its cheaper parts, but $108 versus $180. Also, something I might not have pointed out, this is the version where you can press up here, and as you can see, the brightness gets brighter. Now, if you're thinking about picking up a Game Boy and buying the screen separately and modding it yourself, if you're comfortable soldering and taking apart the Game Boy, you're looking at paying about $50 unless you find a really good deal. If you look around, you could find a good deal. You might be able to get a Game Boy for 10, 20, 30 bucks. I bought two of these. These are actually damaged. I think I paid 70 something to 80 bucks. So that with games. So if you're just figuring the Game Boys, that would be $40 a piece. But if you add in the games, you're looking at, I probably paid, I'd say $20 to $25 a piece for these Game Boys. So you can't find a good deal. But let's just say you're going on eBay or Let It Go. These are selling for an average price of 50 bucks. So we'll go with a base price of $50. And then your screen itself is probably going to cost you anywhere from 50 to 70 bucks. The prices vary, and there are different features. Like this one's just an IPS screen. I don't believe this changes colors. Some of the IPS screens that I've seen that I want to get for this one, when I do decide to mod this myself, have the different colors. You got a green, red, yellow, purple backlight, I'd like to say, or hue. You're looking at spending $100 to $120 to mod it yourself. I got this for 108 bucks in total with shipping. So right off the bat, that's a plus for picking one up from AliExpress. But I will say, as you've seen in the video, the housing itself is fairly cheap. And I just noticed that this is lifting up, but that can easily be glued. But still, look, show you in the camera, it's lifting up. So there are some quality issues here. The screws are far cheaper than the original. The screen itself isn't secured in there really good. They did put 3Ms, as I said. The buttons themselves, they feel pretty good for the most part. The speaker in either of these are crap. I don't know. I almost want to say the speaker in this is better, which is the original. You would think if they were putting new parts in it, that would be better. But that's not the case. But still, $108 if you're just looking for an original Game Boy and one with an IPS screen, that's not bad. Just remember that there are going to be some quality issues, and if you decide to go ahead and pick one of the original Game Boys up and mod it yourself, you're going to have far better screws. The housing itself is going to be made of a far better plastic. You're going to get original buttons. And you're going to get the original speaker, which I hope there's a speaker mod. I probably could put a better speaker inside the Game Boy. I'm not entirely sure. That will be something that I am going to research while I'm thinking or planning out the mod for this. Let me know in the comments down below if you know that there is a better speaker to put in here. My final thoughts. What do I think? Was it worth picking up DMG Gameboy IPS Screen from AliExpress? And honestly, yes, I think it was well worth it. 108 bucks for something that's already pre-assembled, IPS screen installed, new housing, because you would have to think about if the housing on the Game Boy you bought was completely trashed, you might have to think about buying a new housing. If I was looking for the Game Boy, I'd probably find one with a fairly decent housing, because I don't know, most of us want to stay with the original housing. This translucent housing is kind of cool, but still 108 bucks for all of that already done. Definitely well worth it, even with the quality issues of the screws, which I can replace myself at some point. The adhesive on this, which just started coming up, and it's probably because I was messing around in there, and even the way the screen's aligned, it's still far worth it. You're going to be looking at spending $180, probably $150 to $180 to buy one of these off of eBay. And you might even get the same quality issues depending on who actually did the mod and put the Game Boy together. But on the flip note, if you want to go ahead and put one together yourself, you're going to be paying not much more than this. You're going to know how the work was done, what quality was put into it. But for me, I was just interested in seeing what a DMG Gameboy IPS screen from AliExpress was like, and it's not bad. You guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. As I said, I'm going to be modding this one and fixing another one. They both need to be repaired and modded. Let me know any mods that you think should be done to the Game Boy in the comments down below. I'm always interested in hearing from you guys because, as always, this is the We Deem channel. We review, we test, and we game. It's not about me, it's about us as gamers, and I always love hearing your opinions in the comments down below, so please let me know there. All the parts discussed in here, if you're looking to mod a Game Boy, if you're looking to buy one from AliExpress or buy one pre-installed on eBay, those links will be in the description down below, so don't forget to go and check those out if you're interested in doing any of that. If you're interested in seeing where I go or my journey in modding and fixing these Game Boys before that video hits, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, which is at We Deem Channel, or Instagram at We Deem Channel. And on both of those, you can see progresses of any projects or DIY projects that I'm involved in or currently doing, so don't forget to follow me there. If you liked what was contained in this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you thought this video plain sucked, my information in here was far off and was not valuable, you can always go ahead and hit that thumbs down. But if you do that, always leave me a comment down below. Let me know why I'm wrong, because as I said, this is about us as gamers, our opinion, not just mine. So let us all know why you feel that this video was crap. If you found this video to be of some sort of value though, don't forget to share amongst friends and the rest of your social media. And as always, don't forget to let me spend my money so you don't waste yours by hitting that subscribe button.